Hey everyone, so welcome to the first video. I know some people might be finding this brand new. Some people, very few people, might be finding it from my old channel. I did have a old channel a few years back where I posted on the community message saying that I did create this new channel, but I don't expect many people to be coming from there. And I've learned a lot since that channel, and when I was posting on that channel, at the time I was exploring different trading strategies. With small accounts, I wasn't taking huge leverages or anything, or huge risk, but I was exploring different riskier strategies, and I didn't end up liking them, and I didn't end up finding much success in them in the long term. So over the past few years, I've learned a lot, developed different strategies, tried many different strategies. And I think I've come to a point where, I'm always still learning, but I've come to find some kind of stability in the strategies that I'm doing. And you see that I'm on Robinhood here. You'll see that it's sitting at it's $583. This is a very small portion of my account that I'm allocating to a small account challenge. And how this started was I wanted to try this new strategy I thought made a lot of sense, and I started it at $250. Now, the thing about small account challenges, quote unquote challenges, I was just doing it for myself, is that it's a lot harder because you're limited in the positions and stocks you can look at and take. So this is very limiting. It closes you up to a lot more options. Not like stock options, but just a lot more alternatives. So I found this to be a lot harder, but I did manage to get it up from 250 to 500. And once I hit 500, and you'll see there's a spike here at around 700, 6 to 700. I think my peak was about 650. And but from there I had some losers, which is to be expected because I hadn't had a loser yet at that point. So it's to be expected, and I stabilized at about 500, and then we hit a very volatile period where it was a new president coming in the United States, and we had a lot of earnings for major companies that caused a lot of volatility and a lot of news on top of that. So I did sit out from the market for a little bit, and I have been going back into it now that there's less volatility, and a lot of the companies that we were expecting big earnings for that have major implications in the stock market or influence are out and done now. So I'm going back into it and I'm starting positions, but that's what this account is for. It's starting at 500 and going to maybe $1,000. I'm not sure where I'm going to stop yet, but the reason why I started this was to prove the consistency in my strategy, and I think I have been proving it consistently. $100 small account challenge is just for fun. I've always loved small account challenges when I was learning because I didn't have much capital to work with. I'm posting this on my Twitter, and I have warned that this is all you have. You probably should not be doing this. But if you want to allocate a small percentage of your portfolio to open yourself up to some options, or if that's what you're interested in, I think this is a fun thing to do if you can afford to do it. If this is your whole account, I highly recommend not doing it, but that's just what I'm doing this for. My hope is that I'm going to start doing this eventually with maybe $2,000 and work that up to 5,000, and then from 5,000 or maybe 10,000, whatever I start making, I'll start pocketing and pulling out, and that'll be additional income for me because I don't want to put a whole lot of capital into options. So that's just where I'm at with Robinhood, and that's what I'm using it for. But another thing I use it for, you'll see some stuff on here, but another thing I use it for is to track my larger portfolio. So majority of my portfolio is in Charles Schwab, and the UI isn't friendly, but that's somewhere where I felt safe putting majority of my money. But I do use Robinhood UI because it's just a lot more friendly and a lot more pleasant to look at. So I use this UI on Robinhood to track my investments, such as Leaps, and Leaps are in my new username. I'm a huge advocate of Leaps, and I think there's a lot of value in Leaps that people don't capitalize on, and it's not talked about enough. It's one of the best strategies I think out there, next to the wheel strategy maybe. And I can talk more about specifics and details, but this is just an intro video. So I track things such as Leaps, stocks I'm interested in or stocks that I'm in, stocks that I'm eyeing, stuff like that. So you'll see on here one of the most recent leaps that I took was NVIDIA. So when I bought this leap on my real account on the large portfolio, I also started a watch list on here. So I got in at 3,400 and it's up 33 something percent. But this is how I track the price of it and track part of the portfolios that I would like to track and keep an eye on. But my actual holding is in Schwab. So you'll see that it says watch list, but I might actually own those positions or just be watching them. And then I don't update these all the time, so my current positions aren't actually current positions. So that's where I'm at. And in terms of investments, I've learned a lot about chart analysis and some fundamentals, and I think both are valuable. I do probably put a little more weight on chart analysis, but I also do weigh fundamentals as well. I probably do more of like a Peter Lynch method. And again, I'll go into more details of all of these if there's interest in them. But that's kind of how I've been going about it. And I majorly invest in mega caps during pullbacks. And I do this mainly based on charts, which is why I put so much emphasis on chart analysis, because I'm already going into mega caps. So yes, there's value in looking at fundamentals, but when I'm looking at safe mega caps that are some of the largest holdings in the S&P 500 or VOO or QQQ, I don't think it plays as heavy of a role. And I'm just targeting great entries or going a lot heavier on those great entries that I see that are coming or that are already there. Where I'm at in terms of investments, and I've covered a lot about the small account challenge. What I wanted to say was that I started it at $500 in terms of posting. And I know I haven't posted on here, but I have been posting on the X account, and I post all the entries and then all the exits. So it started on January, I think 13th or something. So early to mid-January this year. And I've been posting every single positions that I've been taking. They're not always real time because I can't always. I do work and have a life outside of all of this. So they're not always real time, but on X at least, I try to keep them as real time as possible. And then YouTube will probably be more in-depth analysis and more detailed explanations of what I'm doing. But X is very easy for a quick post. Just midday, I just write something up or take a screenshot of my chart that I've already been using and then post that, and then tag that along with my entry and all that good stuff. So that's currently where I'm at, and these positions are set to expire at the end of this week, and they're looking pretty good. The UNH one is at 533, but the strike price is of the short leg, I think, is the 525, and Nvidia is also at 132, 133, but my strike price is at 129. So I think they're looking okay. I'll have to see how the rest of the days in this week goes, but I think I'm going to let those expire as long as I don't see anything drastic. I did mention that a lot of these might come back to the support line. For example, Nvidia went back into the ascending triangle on my chart. It entered back into that trend, but I can definitely see it testing the bottom of that trend line since it just entered and it hasn't tested it yet. So those are perfectly within reason, but as long as it stays above my strike price, I feel okay holding those. And as we get closer to expiration, which is Friday, the time decay gets harder and harder and harder. So as long as you're sitting above the strike price, even if it's by slightly, theta decay will do its part, and then so on until expiration. So that's currently my plan, and I do plan on posting consistently on X about the updates on the small account challenge, but also updates on investments that I'm eyeing, because I am holding a good amount in cash right now. I'm looking for positions to go into. So I will be keeping an eye on a lot of different possible positions that I'll be taking. So keep an eye on that. If you want real-time updates, check out the X. Otherwise, you can just see the videos where I go more in depth, but it'll be after the fact of all the positions that I've taken over the week or 2 weeks. But thanks for listening.